Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, just a quick little video on something that happened last week that Topaz Photo AI was able to rescue. And as folks know who've been subscribers for a while, I mostly when I'm walking around and I'm not specifically out to do photography, I've got errands, whatever, I take my Lumix ZS200, also known as the TZ200 or Z200 as the case may be, wherever you particularly live. And so and I really like this camera, and this, for the most part, performs really well. It's a great little camera. It's not without its faults. And so one thing that happened was I was walking through Austin Gardens, which is a park in Oak Park, Illinois, and it's just right off the main downtown drag, which is Lake Street, through Oak Park. So it's about a block off of there, and they have a really nice little woodland with native wildflowers. So now, this time of year, there are tons of wildflowers in that area. So I was walking along and I just saw these native spring ephemeral wildflowers. These are called spring beauties. And I grabbed a shot. And this was actually from, fairly far back, but using it at the telephoto end. And just grabbed one shot. Usually, if I'm paying attention, because I probably wasn't, or I probably had someplace to be, I'll take more than one shot. But the resulting image was somewhat soft. And I think the camera may have misfocused. Also, at some point, I had set the image stabilization on this camera to the panning mode, where it only stabilizes in the vertical, because when you're panning, I don't know how necessary that is. I had the very first image stabilized lens ever, the Canon 75-300, which was about the only thing of note about that lens was it was image stabilized, because as far as optics go, it was kind of meh. It's okay at the shorter ends, not that great at the long end. Later Canon lenses had a little switch for panning, and then those kind of went away because Canon went, well, it doesn't really matter. They must have done something to change how the IS responds. But Lumix cameras, if you go in the menus, you can actually change that. So I changed it at some point. So did that make a difference? I don't know. So I grabbed a shot, and when I'm looking at it on the computer, I'm like, oh, this is not sharp. And I kind of like the photo. So I ran it through Topaz Photo AI just to see what happened. And Photo AI just made it look great. So, if you've got a soft image and it's not too soft, Photo AI does a really good job in sharpening it up. And it sort of raises the question of how good does a lens need to be? Because, if you got a lens that is not completely crisp, but, it's sort of sharp enough, running images through Photo AI just cleans them up and they look really good. You get occasional artifacts, so you do need to be aware of that. So you need to watch out. If you see something weird, you can go in and adjust the settings to try and maybe tone down the sharpening. But for the most part, it works really well. So if you have a little camera like this, or not just Lumix cameras, or you have a smaller camera, and it's actually the small camera, the IS really has its work cut out for it, because with the big camera, the inertia helps you stabilize handheld shots, right? Because body at rest tends to stay at rest. So, that helps. In a smaller camera like this, you really do have to rely on the image stabilization, because it's not as easy to hold it steady, because it doesn't have a lot of mass. That's it for today. Hopefully this was useful to you. If it was, please hit that like button. Any questions, comments, leave them down below. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you next time.